Hello. You can probably tell just by looking at me, but I have had an intense 9 months. It's scary when you need to change thousands of lines of code without anybody noticing. I released CueCam 3.3 over the weekend with a complete rebuild of the rendering engine. And today I'm going to show you what changed and what's next. You may have seen a video already, but I'm just going to go over it again, I think, today. And I'm also going to show you some new stuff and a CueCam 4.0 mockup, and I'd love to get your opinions on that too. This is Squares TV App Lab number 120, where I show you how to use the tools I've created to look better on video. I'm Michael Forrest and I make Video Pencil, Shoot and CueCam Presenter. And also I am self-conscious about this weird curly bit of hair today and regretting that I did not stand up to do this live stream today. But hopefully the energy, I'm just trying to take it easy on myself, to be honest. Because yeah, it's taken a lot out of it, a lot out of me. So, you know, I worked through the weekend. That's an update. Update number one. I worked through the weekend because I just didn't want this CueCam 3.3 thing released dragging on for yet another week. I've been trying to get to it for so long. And, you know, here we are. It's here. So, I'm amazed that only a couple of, I couldn't remember if I'd put a card in, I've only had like 2 or 3 serious crashes and bugs, but they're all kind of workable around so far. I've noticed a couple of weird things with configuring a camera that isn't the one that is your main camera. But honestly, I'm using it right now and it seems pretty solid, and nobody's having any sort of crazily unexpected problems, and there's nothing too kind of weird and crazy. But anyway, so why did I do CueCam 3.3? This is what I wanted to talk about first today. So the point of all this, thousands and thousands of lines of code changing, was that now CueCam gives frame perfect, color perfect results. Screen shares have the right colors, videos don't glitch out when they start, and things like camera transitions are tightly locked to slide transitions. And even better, when we do find bugs, they are much easier to think about and to fix. So here is a little CueCam beta side by side. So we've got the old version here, and then we've got, actually I do want the shuttle wheel. So I've got the shuttle wheel and Video Pencil here. So I can sort of, I can sort of go backwards and forwards from the iPad. So the first thing we're looking at here is transitions. So you see, so here's the old App Lab transition. On the left, you see it kind of it doesn't all change at once. So you see here, that's still left over from this. Whereas here, on this side, you see it all just changes at once. See? And sort of fades up gracefully. You'll see I also made there's a little vertical camera offset here. So you see when we've got a lower third, it gives us a little bit more vertical space, which I just like that. I had the thing turned off. So you see there's that little transition there, and that's just because how everything is just locked so tightly now. And then the camera LUT, you might notice it or not, but this is the same LUT on both ones, but this one has a little control so that I can dial it down a bit, and the colors are more accurate to what they're supposed to be as well. So and the next thing, I changed the face cam transition. So when you see there's a flicker when changing images. Well, first the face, well, let's see. We kind of come through here. Let me just make sure I'm showing the right thing. Yeah, so here we've got these little slide transitions. I'm trying to show you this transition here. So you see here on the left, there's this sort of awkward kind of picture-in-picture transition. And also the colors, you see the colors here? So on here, it's all kind of, it's just not very well composited. Whereas here it's just a little bit more solid and looks good. And you can see that even more if you look at this, like the compositing around my hair, for example. So you see this just looks a lot more part of the image, whereas this is kind of like multiple different layers that aren't really like blending the colors properly. But yeah, the worst thing is like, look at these black, like, so this, you see on this side, when I transition through, it's just like there, next thing. But you see on the left, when we transition through, you see, like, look over there now. Why is it going to a black frame and like flickering in? And then this is really subtle, but like the colors are wrong on Xcode on the screen share as well. It's just not quite, I mean, it's very hard to tell on Xcode, but very subtly off, but they're fixed now. The next thing was like the in and out of the video, that transition, like just look how the lower third sort of disappears when we come, where is it? I'm trying to like look at the yeah, it's just all a bit like clumsy if you look over here, like what's happening. And whereas the new one is just like, it just works properly. And then if we have a look here, we've got the face cam transition again. And here's just a demo of the bullet points layout. So this is one of the things I'm most excited about is if you look at here, it actually, like, so now this was something I wanted to have for ages. This I find, right, this first frame, right, I find it really awkward in the old rendering engine when you haven't revealed all your bullet points yet, because you get this, it's sort of like left space for the other bullet points. Whereas if you have a look here, the padding isn't quite right horizontally, but if you look at this vertically, as each bullet point comes in on the right, it expands the space. And expands the space, so you've always got like a nice balanced looking image. And I think that's really cool. Then we've got some other sort of like, look at how flickery these transitions are on the left. Like this is the old version. So look again on the left, it's kind of like, it just like, you just get these black frames in between and it's just no good. Whereas the new one, you can see like, it's just right. And then the other thing to notice here is, you see, look, like you just get this weird ghosting where like this is still here, the edge of the camera is kind of like cropped off, but the background is gone. So, but if you have a look here, like stuff like this, because of the crazy way in which I was rendering it before, it's quite subtle, but like the aliasing there is off. I'm not sure it comes off, but whereas here it's all perfect. So yeah, just it's quite hard to tell always, but I know, yeah, it's just like if you get in close, you do notice that this aliasing is a bit crazy, because it's like compositing in some crazy ways to sort of get the results. And so that's just a few of the issues I fixed with the new pipeline. And while I was doing this, I decided to address the new user experience. When someone first downloads it, I decided to update that with a new onboarding process. So that looks like this now. So what you'll see is you get a fun little interactive presentation, which lets you immediately enjoy the video pencil. So it's stuff like when it gets the camera, it does like an immersive little effect on it. We come in here, it straight away says, hey, like grab your iPad, and it sort of waits for you to open your iPad. And then once it's open, just kind of goes, hey, try drawing something. You can draw something. So straight away, you get that feeling of two devices working together. And then the same with Shoot. Just try opening Shoot, and then we can sort of see that in action and kind of like wave that around and remote control that. So I just wanted you to be able to see like straight away the benefits of the multi-device thing. And then sort of like asks for microphone access, and then shows you our incredible LUTs metering. No one else has got this. Like you can just see if it's green. And I've been like orange the whole time today, which is making me nervous. But I'm on the Mimo wireless mic, which I'm a little bit nervous about adjusting because it's a little bit low on the scale. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 3. So this should be a bit less hot now. And you see as we come through, it's and also like something with the old version, when you when you did set up, the virtual camera, you had to quit out of the app and come back in. And then once you came through, once you installed the virtual mic, you had to reboot your computer. But now it just says, hey, can I just restart Core Audio? And that lets you just kind of run through the whole thing without ever having to even leave the running application. And then you're ready to get started. So that was just something I really wanted to show. I put a lot of work into just trying to make that first use a bit less clunky and sort of show you what's cool about this system before you've had to necessarily grant everything. And also the screen sharing stuff I don't ask for until you first share your screen. So and that's actually the only time you ever have to restart the app. So this is cool. Thank you, Joe Rama, who says strong. And I made a few other tweaks here and there, like new camera controls. So you can actually now. I'm still a bit nervous about like doing demo mode. Am I going to risk it, or am I just going to show you that there are now? I'm just going to show you a picture because I'm nervous about demo mode. But if I just show you this, you can see that there's brand new color controls. Here, brightness and adjustment, and you can also in here you can drag a video now and it will just loop as a video background with the virtual chroma key. So just really handy stuff for kind of just being able to tweak your video a bit. You can blur the background of your video, which is quite cool. Like I think I mean, I've got a DSLR, but I can't get it far enough away from me, so maybe I should just like use this kind of extreme fake blur, which is now available in CueCam, because I thought you can put it on a picture that you bring in, because it's always really annoying having to go out and like blur the picture, but now you can just like blur either the real background or blur the virtual background. And so yeah, and finally there's this thing. If you've seen the video I did earlier this week, you'll know all this stuff, but I'm just wanted to see if anyone had any comments today, since I'll do it live. I asked AI for some suggestions of what I could call picture-in-picture after someone said they didn't know what picture-in-picture meant, and I was like, okay. And AI was like, what about mini view? And I was like, no. What about inset view? I'm like, no. Overlay? No. What about mini camera? No. What about pip instead of picture? No. What about pop-out camera? And I was like, no. This is going to be called FaceCam. There we go. I came up with it a couple of weeks after asking the robot for some bad ideas. I thought, yeah, FaceCam. So now it's called FaceCam everywhere. And so these are all on the normal version of CueCam, and that's out now. You can just go to cuecam.app/download. And this is the changes that I made for this version of the app. So this is everything since June 2025. Well, I actually started on this kind of even in May, which is why I say 9 months. This is the code base for CueCam. So this is all new framework stuff that I've created that is reusable between things. And then this is all the stuff I had to change in CueCam to use that new stuff. So you see, we come through July, and this is me, this little character here. So you see, I'm just like, if I can, I'll fast forward a little bit. I'll fast forward us through it. And you can just see September, October, November, December, and then by the time we get to February, I have basically kind of like this is the CueCam app, and then this is all there's a new onboarding thing, there's UI tests, and then there's new framework code for all this stuff. So I've got like tests as well as part of my release workflow, which I never done a great job of before. So I think that's going to just lead to a bit more confidence with the releases. So I've gone beyond the checklist to now like actually having it automatically runs through some stuff, and I can look and I can even compare the images and stuff. So that's a great bit of progress. And so the reason what I want to work on for CueCam 4 is like some of these long-standing points of confusion. I'm going to show you some of the progress I've made this week there. So, and those things were too many windows. CueCam's got, like, even now I've got too many windows open because the live camera window, because the live streaming controls aren't in the normal window, in the document window. So I have to like make sure I've got the live camera window open as well. Then I've got the teleprompter up there. Then if I'm editing the camera, that's another window. And basically, like, there's just too many windows at the moment. The script editor is like I built it the way I built it for a reason, but I think it's time to look at it properly. Part of it is just like it's so hard to do text editing nicely the way that it is in your head sometimes. But yeah, I'm sort of looking at, I'm rethinking how the script editor works, and then finally this kind of mental overhead of going between two different modes, and really switching modes in software is kind of a antiquated paradigm, and I did it because Keynote does it. But I think for what we're doing, it actually doesn't make as much sense to have like I'm presenting now, I'm not presenting. So I've got some ideas to kind of really simplify that whole thing. So I'm excited to start publishing 4.0 betas on now that I've freed up the beta branch, but we'll get to that when we can. Thanks, Tony. But another side of this is that, all these libraries I can bring into Shoot and Video Pencil, and, being able to like open CueCam docs in Video Pencil and stuff like that is all sort of like starting to be possible now. If you want, so if you want to try it, that is a big title, isn't it? Perhaps what happens if I edit this? Will it work? Let's make that a bit smaller. Yeah, CueCam.app/download. If you don't have it already, give it a go. I think it's because even just to sort of see how you feel about that onboarding, that new sort of first launch sequence. So I thought now I'd sort of show you like if you're familiar with CueCam, then this is going to be interesting for you, I think. So this is kind of the work I've been looking at. So this is what I've been thinking about. Like the first thing is here are all the crazy. Why is this so? Is this? It's just a really big image. It just doesn't like how big the image does it? This is too big and high resolution. So we've got this sort of Shoot and Video Pencil controls. We've got these like go live, record. This is only visible in one view. We've got the share bar. We've got slots, and that's the live camera view and headphones and things. But then we've got in the document view, we've got like our weird sidebar situation. We've got like the inspector stuff. We've got all this all the kind of buttons here. So this was kind of inspired by Keynote kind of thing. But I was just thinking, what can I do to kind of, well, the real thing I want to do is, instead of having a live camera window, you just kind of land in the live camera window, but there's a little sidebar where you can see that you can add cards if you want. So it's always a document, but it's just like a blank document. And then you can have multiple tabs with multiple different documents. But if you don't only use sharing and slots and that kind of thing and streaming, you don't even need to open that sidebar. So I'll show you what that means in a second. And so I've been sort of thinking about, how do we do, like, can I just use the share bar for selecting things to share, and then you just like drag them into the thing, or like how do we deal with that? Maybe the share bar should have like a little search thing on it. And then there's this idea of like a forwards, like back button, forwards button. But one of the biggest things that I've been realizing, and let's have a look at a working prototype. So this is live in Xcode right now. So this is what I'm thinking for the CueCam window. Now you see what's missing here is I haven't got the camera controls. So this would have to have like camera, like headphones, like camera mic, headphones, and then I guess the share bar kind of wide. So I was just like tinkering with that. But what I'm thinking is you share something. Let's say we've got a slot. We share something. Okay, now I'm sharing it. To stop sharing, there's like an X button, and that stops sharing whatever you're sharing. And then there's a back button that kind of takes you back to the last thing you were sharing. And I think that's really going to make things feel really natural. And so now there's no like presentation mode, but you see there's this all important button here, which is, oh, look, I've got a script. I can sort of add cards and create a script. So now if I select a card in my script, okay, right, I've got my teleprompter notes. This is a bit janky still, but like I can edit my teleprompter notes here. But if I press X, but anytime I click here, this is just on the virtual camera now, right? This isn't like editing mode. This is like whichever card I select here is just on the virtual camera, and then I can just like sort of step through it, or just kind of exit out of it, or kind of like go back to a card, or like back to the previous card or whatever, back to where I was, or just kind of jump to the slot, and then when I press back, it's going to go to there again, and I'm going to be able to like click through. So this is kind of how I'm thinking for and then being able to always see like the next card down there, I think is really important, just like to sort of remember where you are. And I think this can be, and then a full screen version of this window is what's in the teleprompter, right? And then we've got like the sidebar card docs thing over here, and like recording control. If I finally sort of, today I just like made this minimal prototype to without the rest of CueCam running, so I could just see what Mac OS would let me do with toolbars. And I'm thinking like, okay, we're recording, we press stop, we can sort of show the recording. So this currently has an awkward space in the toolbar, and then same for going live, like sort of that just sits up there. And then I'm thinking we need like, it'd be good to have some sort of like, is video pencil connected, is shoot connected indicator, but yeah, and I'm sort of figuring out where things go. But I think this could be, like when you first jump into CueCam, you're basically looking at yourself. And then I'm thinking, if you want to like make some edits without people seeing on Zoom, you just change your main camera on Zoom. Or I thought like another idea was what we could have like okay, what I'm presenting now, just like lock that. And so now I can like go in and then click a different card and make edits to that, but it will kind of like stay like showing. Maybe I'll have like a picture in picture showing what's going out, so that you could sort of jump to another card quickly and just edit something without kind of changing. So I thought like maybe a bypass or just a lock to just so then whatever you're sharing here, okay, I'm just going to lock that, and then any selections don't actually like change the main camera. And so I think we'd have like a little picture-in-picture overlay there to kind of like reinforce that. But I'm not sure. So this is sort of, and then I think the rest ends up being all about like, because I've got some stuff I can do now. Like I can do like immersive effects and like drama mode, which has like reverb, and I've got all some more, and sort of like I'm gonna have I want to just stamp instead of just bullet points that kind of like slowly reveal and sort of like that are kind of more like a slideshow. I want stuff that's more YouTube-y or more kind of video-y, which is like, okay, like a stamp thing that goes across the screen. Done. And it just cut that's uses the same mechanic as a bullet point, but it's a lot more visual and a lot more exciting. And so I think this sidebar, or maybe like the add card thing, has like basically has templates. So at the moment you've got some sort of sliding card templates, but I think I'm going to have stuff like drama, like demo, screen share demo, and it's just going to have like text areas, and you'll just like, you'll just edit it there in place, and you'll kind of see what you're getting straight away. You'll drag images in. There's an image. You'll drag a video in. There's a video. Like we don't need buttons for everything. There can be buttons like the share bar will still have like, okay, up, video, but I've got to figure out when I share something. Say I share a video. So I get, obviously if you just drag the video onto the card, you definitely want the video on the card. But if you drag the video, yeah, and I guess if you've got a card selected and you drag a video in, then, so does that mean anything that we share while a card is selected is, I think that's weird because there may be like share now versus like add something to share to this card. And that's where things, I get a little bit, I need to just try it out and play with it and just see if I've just like pushed the problem down the road. The other thing I want to do is allow large and detailed. Maybe if you drag to the window, automatically open. Well, I think no, because sometimes you want to just share a video onto your camera. So that's what will happen by default. For sure, if you just drag the video onto the card, I think that's simple. So maybe that's just how we do it. Because when you drag it if you drag it into here, it means you want to share it now. And if you drag it into here, it means you want to like attach it to the card. I think that might feel fine. It's kind of how I usually operate. I was thinking maybe there's like when you are sharing. So say you've got your kind of like, say I'm sharing, I've done it and it's weird, but like, okay. Also like the idea that like you've got like multiple slots down here. So when I've got my slots that I've saved. So this is sort of like, probably most people are going to use it like this to start with. I've got my slot 1, I'm sharing one thing, I've got my slot 2, X out of that. Can I just like drag slot onto the card? Or like when I'm sharing something, like say I'm sharing this, can I just drag that onto the card now and that's on there? So maybe that's just like right click, save to card, or I don't know, like right click on the card, save current slot. I don't know, something like that. Just need to be thinking about that. I need to see what feels good. Or it's like, yeah, do you do it sort of through here? Do I have like add something and there's a big like all the kind of add thing? Because we've got triggers and all that kind of thing, which I realized after 3 years of working on this app should really be called cues. If I'm calling it CueCam and no one knows what a cue is, I should at least have cues in CueCam. Yeah, so this is kind of like what I've been tinkering with today. So, you know, getting this transition to work, there was a weird bug with it for ages. But what I want to do is make it so that when you press the next button and you've got a lot of teleprompter text, it kind of like goes by paragraph, but it's all on the same card so that you don't have to like artificially split the cards up. So if you are just like, this is the picture I'm showing, I've got quite a lot to talk about here. It doesn't like punish you for that anymore. That's something that I see a lot of people wanting to paste a lot more text into one card, and that's something that there's no reason I shouldn't let you do that. It just like means I've got to rethink how the teleprompter control works. Like what happens when you press next, when you click, when you press the right arrow. I'm not sure. I need to sort of see how it all feels, but I just like the idea that we just have whatever's like highlighted. Is it this? Or is it one of these? Like my state is whatever is highlighted in the UI. And I've always got this. I think this is huge, this X, because the current app, it does have it, but it's like not really part of the UI. But this is just like, okay, back to my main camera. And so I think this is super important. And it was kind of a concept that was missing before. Just like, and I think this back like history thing will be really handy as well. It'll take me back to that thing I was at a few cards ago, or but it will also have anything you just shared ad hoc and all that kind of thing. So I think that's going to be really handy. And then like, yeah, just whatever's selected is what's, you know, the big pink thing is the thing that's being shared. So even this probably shouldn't have a pink border. Share button, let's just go white. So if we just make sure that doesn't even have, I've got this awkward like demo thing going on. So yeah, so like, okay, something's highlighted in pink, that means that's active. Oh, this is highlighted in pink, that means this is active. So we always kind of like know that's just what's going out on the camera, that's what's going to be recorded. So I think that's just going to make it feel all a bit less, oh, the current window isn't actually what's going out on my webcam. Anyway, what else? There's what's missing. Yeah, so yeah, lots to think about, but I'll be able to start putting some of this stuff out on the beta soon. So you'll be able to grab that on the beta download. So, here's something I wanted to show you before I go. This is, let's go over to outdoors, Michael. So for ages, I thought this would be really cool to be able to take my phone, put it on a selfie stick, and that's running shoot. And then we'll just face that sort of somewhere interesting. And then on my iPad, video pencil. And it has, you can see, wirelessly, no Wi-Fi, No personal hotspot. These are just connected through the peer-to-peer thing on the iPad. And if we come in on the iPad, I can even start adjusting settings directly from the iPad. So you can set up your camera, set up your exposure while you are behind the camera. So how cool is this? I think this is going to unlock a lot of possibilities. Thank you, Michael. Looking forward to getting my hands on that. Still having teething problems with certain things. I was trying to get rid of my picture-in-picture, which is supposed to obey if I press the button, but it doesn't seem to quite obey it yet. But now it's going to be much, it's just the logic is in one place instead of 13 places. Yeah, then record, edit in Final Cut, and publish all on the iPad. Yeah, exactly. And then also I'm going to support. Well, this is where we start getting crazy. Like, I want Video Pencil on the iPad to actually support like creating sort of a similar thing to what I was just showing you in CueCam. So like a sidebar with a teleprompter notes, so that you could like have a teleprompter script and maybe some images that you prepared and some videos that you prepared. Do that to camera using just Video Pencil and shoot. So that's something is not far off, to be honest. Depending on how much I do want to sort of like get the next like generation of CueCam underway and just like figure out the most difficult issues with that and just figure out if it's all going to hang together once I get rid of this whole edit mode, presenting mode thing. Bazinga, says Joe Rama. Wow, says Tony Mobley. I'm glad to hear you like that, because I think it's going to be cool. Oh, by the way, I realized I needed another camera to be able to show how I use Shoot and Video Pencil. So now I've got like an Osmo in the studio, so you can see what I'm working with today. So there's like my teleprompter is up here, my iPad is here. So when I'm drawing, that's coming through here from the iPad. So if you are interested in what my behind the scenes looks like, yeah, I just realized I needed to actually have like I just needed another camera, which is really annoying, because one of the reasons I'm building all this stuff is so I don't have to keep buying extra cameras. But if you're making the thing that lets you do the stuff, you then need another a witness to all of that. So I was like, oh god, okay, so I'll get myself an Osmo and not as a whatever Pocket 3 thing, and that's quite good. And I got the little thing that it means it's got this outdoor thing, so I can sort of go outside and film in beautiful Edinburgh a bit more. But I'm looking forward to being able to do that with Shoot. With a teleprompter feature, and just actually like have a bit of a script and be able to sort of go to different places and have written that in advance and sort of be able to put a tight video together. And then the idea with that is like, I take my CueCam script, it's synced onto Shoot, I take my footage with Shoot, that gets attached back into the script and synced via iCloud. And then when I come back to my Mac, when I hit that card, it goes to that B-roll that I've taken, and then when I come out of the card, it comes back to me live. So I can just start like going around and like adding little bits of color to these scripts in a way that, in a really seamless way. So loads of ideas, loads of things I want to be working on. But yeah, I think that's us for today. So if you want to talk some more, squares.tv/discord. I get notifications for that whenever. I kind of like see them first thing in 5:30 in the morning when I get up. And I might not get to them straight away, but yeah, that's sort of the place to reach out if you want to chat. And yeah, thanks everyone. Really appreciate you coming today. Please, always likes and subscribes are always useful for the YouTube algorithm to know that I am not a AI slop channel. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Thank you everybody for watching. And disconnect.